God, what is he saying? I find it strange that I, the Silver Surfer, former herald of Galactus and ruler of the Spaceways, find my... Oh, fucking shut up, Silver Surfer. Jesus Christ. Hey everyone, welcome back to Nortman Reviews, and we are going to be taking a look at the Marvel Top Cow crossovers. This is a collected book, pretty thick book, of a bunch of shit, and sometimes I say that, like, literally, like, but just a bunch of shit that Marvel and Top Cow has produced together, storylines, and heroes crossing over, all that kind of shit. And it's mostly starts with the Devil's Reign crossover, which was the big main one, when Top Cow was kind of in its heyday. And I think it might give some of the dates as we go and look through this, but it was in the 90s. And they had this weird fucking crossover. And what made me think of doing this is, give me shit if you'd want, but I was watching the show Ironheart, which isn't too bad of a show. And spoilers, I'm sorry, but in that show, Mephisto shows up, finally, in the Marvel Universe. Strange place for him to show up, but they kind of did it in an interesting way with science and magic in that show. But it got me thinking, like, I should do something with Mephisto. What do I have? And there's a few things, but then I pulled this out, and Mephisto is the main villain in the Devil's Reign crossover with Marvel and Top Cow. Then there's like 5 issues of that, and then it goes into this fucking weird crossover with Witchblade and Wolverine by Chris Claremont, and then a kind of interesting Darkness and Incredible Hulk with some Dale Keown art. So we're going to look at each chapter individually in different episodes here, so bear with me, we'll get to them all. But so we're going to start off first with Devil's Reign. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jesus Christ. That makes sense now that I think about it. And then there is a prelude. Now, I had read all of these. My brother Robert, I'm sure he will be covering these at some point, and he'll probably give you a lot more information about what was going on with Top Cow and their artists and inkers and writers and all that, and the characters in the books themselves. I don't have a lot of like the history, but I'm just going to give you my thoughts as we go along. But I had never read the Silver Surfer Witchblade Prelude. I don't know where that came in, but I read it here for the first time, and I had to reread it, and my God. So, first off, the way they did these is they start off with Weapon Zero Silver Surfer, right? And then they switch to Cyblade Ghost Rider, and then Ghost Rider Ballistic, and then Ballistic and Wolverine, and then Wolverine and Witchblade, and then Witchblade Elektra, and then Elektra and Cyblade, back to Cyblade. And then, to bookend it, we have a Silver Surfer Weapon Zero. So, that's a lot. So it's kind of an interesting way. I don't know if I would have done it this way. I'm sure there might have been some more. There could have been better stories in here, and I feel like most of these are done by the Top Cow writers and artists, that team. I'm sure once I talk about this, people can chime in, and when Robert gets to these books, he'll be able to tell you more about the creatives. But I mean, it's kind of a clever idea to kind of have the characters go one into the other like this. They give some weird reasons why suddenly Ghost Rider, is in 2 books and then he's not there, and then the same thing, with Ballistic. But you think, I don't know, could they have done something better? Like, Top Cow's premier books were Cyberforce and Witchblade. So they got Witchblade in here. You got some Cyberforce with Ballistic and Cyblade characters, but Weapon Zero, I don't know a fuck about Weapon Zero. I don't know anything. I don't know if we ever read comics. So let me explain, like, when these comics were coming out, didn't have a lot of money. I had an allowance, and I would mostly be picking up Marvel and X-Men books, primarily. My brother Rob, he has hundreds upon thousands of comic books, and he would pick up everything, right? He has so much stuff, which I've learned even watching his channel. So he would pick this shit up, and I would read it. So that's kind of, and we shared a room together for a long time, so when he wasn't looking, I'd dig through his comics and read them. But I don't think he ever had this half issue here. But let's get into it. So here's Mephisto sitting here, and this is a choice of an opening shot for Mephisto. He kind of looks all gumpy and weird. He's like sitting, pouting almost. I mean, he's lamenting to himself here. And God, there's going to be a lot of words going on here. There's speeches, and I swear it's like poetry. And that's just the way 90s comics were sometime. But anyways, like you would think, like Mephisto rules over a hell dimension, basically. He looks like fucking Satan, but he's not. But he is a lord of death, and it's going to explain what he's doing here. But he's bored right here, I guess. But as a character, I always envisioned Mephisto. There have been some other things. I envision him as a king, as a lord of hell or something like that. So you think he would be sitting... You think he would be sitting on a throne of some kind. That's what I envision him. I mean, in the Infinity Gauntlet, he was kind of Thanos, what's the plural for... Anyways, it was Thanos' henchman, his Commander Riker, if you will, begrudgingly so. So he was kind of like a little, like, cowardly fool in that, but he was playing a part. Anyways, Mephisto was cool and awesome and impressive, and I don't know, this opening shot, it's kind of interesting, in the way he does it. Who's this artist? Let's look at the credits. David Wool, script by Mike Wazowski. Manzarek. Pencils Kirk Van Wormer and Adam McDaniel. Now again, I am not the artist connoisseur. If you want that, go to my brother's page. He'll tell you who these guys are. He probably knows who these are. Inks, Adam McDaniel, Norm Rapman, Jonathan Lifestay, and Joe Weems. I know Joe Weems. I know that name. And colors by people and whatever. So, I don't know the difference in these artists. Kirk Van Wormer and Adam McDaniel. I don't know who is who. So I don't know who did this. Somebody chime in. But he's just kind of sitting there all gumpy looking, right? And he's just kind of saying like, oh, I'm bored. And it's self-imposed exile or retirement. And again, he's just talking to himself. And he says he found something to do, basically. And then he starts talking to one of his minions. Now, as we go along through these books, as I was going through these, there's a lot of like weird little demons and creatures going on. And I swear this was a prelude, because I don't think the darkness was going on at this time. I can't remember. But, here's some of the darkness. But these fucking darklings and how they try and make these little demons funny and stuff like that. They're doing the same thing here with some of this shit, especially as we go. But basically, through all these words, Mephisto's fine demonic ass, he says he found an alternate dimension, referring to the Top Cow universe, where there is no god of death, and all the heroes are stupid. Which I find funny. What is he says it here. Just look at these pathetic excuses for heroes. Why even their names are ridiculous. And I'm sorry, Robert, but I laughed out loud when I was rereading this. Can you imagine being named Fist? That made me laugh. I'm sorry, Robert. If you know Robert's stuff, you know. So, and then it starts, there's Witchblade, there's Impact right here, there's Striker, Heatwave, Ordnance. Who the fuck is Ordnance? Oh, there's Fist. And so he's basically saying, like, these guys suck. and I'm going to bend them to my will, and I'm going to take over this fucking dimension of Top Cow. Oh, there, my God. And then he starts, like, salivating over Sarah Pazzini here. Now, this, again, interesting choices for art. This is cool. Like, this is a well-drawn face with the shadows and everything. But then, like, what is going on here in these panels? Like, here's Witchblade. What is she wearing? I don't know. Where is she at? I don't know, especially when it goes over here. And because he says, I think a sampling of her nectar is in order. He's talking about how awesome she is, how hot she is, and the power that the Witchblade has is something that he wants. And so, where is she? What is she doing? What the fuck are these? And so he somehow reaches out through the dimensions and contacts her or touches her soul or some shit. But what the fuck is she? I'm like, there's that guy's leg. That's her leg. I don't know what all this is. I mean, I feel like after, again, watching my brother Rob's videos on Top Cow and Studios, this was probably like, hey guys, we're doing a crossover with Marvel. We need everybody just to get on board with some of this shit. So they threw this artist in, and maybe it's last minute stuff. I don't know any of these two guys' other work and which one this guy is. But there's no detail in here. It doesn't look like a Witchblade at all. And the Witchblade starts talking to her. Beware, a new player has entered the game. Your soul and my might are the prizes he seeks. Now, I remember Witchblade. Like, I think it was the first 25 issues that was Michael Turner's run. And this was in between some of those issues, in the middle somewhere. Because there was a cool issue, my brother Rob will get to it because he has all the Witchblade, of Mephisto looming over Sarah Pazzini, drawn by Michael Turner. It's an awesome image. But I don't remember the Witchblade talking to her like this at that point in her comics. Maybe it did later in her run because it went on forever. And I know it did originally. It spoke to her in Witchblade's first appearance with Cyblade She, that crossover, right? That was her. But then that character changed and she was no longer that character. But I don't remember her like the Witchblade talking to her like this. Anyways, Pazzini, Sarah here, she's like, well, could you explain more? But it doesn't respond. So, alright, now, so Mephisto stands up and he's trying to show us his dick, but it's, it's fire crotch here. And he's talking to one of his goofy goons, and again, so much words, and he's just explaining how he is going to skip from one dimension to the other. So we cut to this fucking Weapon Zero team. I don't know anything about these guys. They try to give you some explanation of who these characters are, but I just look at them and I am bored out of my mind with each and every one of these guys. I mean, sexy lady wearing uninspired, unimaginative, like, outfits. I don't know what's this shit on her face. Couple other girls back here, just basic. They're in space. I don't know anything about them. And then this dipshit back here, who I think becomes kind of a character later. He's a character, but he becomes a major character throughout the thing. Kind of. Some asshole named Jamie. Don't know, don't care, right? Jesus. So we're going through, and then Mephisto. Yeah, there's this Jamie guy, and Mephisto thinks he can fucking corrupt this guy, I guess. And then he starts talking about this other alien race that Weapon Zero is fighting, I guess, don't know. And how he can use their technology through their ship to bring him here, but he needs a power source to do it. And I think, he starts talking about, like, it's not in space, it's crashed on Earth, and it's like a derelict ship or something. So he needs some other power source to fucking fuel it. And he's thinking, how do I do this? I mean, his little minion back talks to him, and he fucking zaps him. And then, because I think he says, why don't you use one of the Earth heroes, like the Marvel heroes? He's like, don't fucking tell me what to do. But he's like, oh, actually, I thought of a great idea. Maybe I'll use one of Earth's heroes. I'm so evilly smart. And you get the little glimmer in his eye, and there's a dude surfing. So it's some California guy, right? No, it's a fucking Silver Surfer. The Centurion of the Spaceways, the Guardian of Silver. I don't know. God, there's so much shit in this space. And it's a kind of a cool image. Anatomy's all correct. I like the shininess. I like the way of the board. And I don't know, it doesn't look like he's writing it. Like these lines here is like he's like swooping in. But it looks like he's just standing on it. I mean, it's fine. Doesn't matter. And here, Mr. Nornrad, like the greatest character in the world, according to some people, is fucking just, oh my God, what is he saying? I find it strange that I, the Silver Surfer, former herald of Galactus and roamer of the Spaceways, found it. Oh, fucking shut up, Silver Surfer. Jesus Christ. I get why you were gender swapped in Fantastic Four. And no, I mean, I like Silver Surfer. He's fine of a character, but I've never been particularly like he's the greatest thing ever. Talking about an asteroid, he blows away an asteroid, and he's talking to himself how great he is. Like, oh, the people of Earth will never know how close they came to doom because this asteroid was going to fuck them in the ass. Yes, I'm sure nobody else on Earth in the Marvel Universe would have stopped that asteroid. They just would have. Thor would have let it happen. Iron Man would have let it happen. Mr. Fantastic would have just let it fucking happen. But then we go back to Mephisto, and he's like, because they're doing these like time things, like this is now, this is, this place is here and now, and this place is yesterday, and this is going to be soon, and this is Mephisto. See, there's his throne, like I was talking about, instead of cowering on the fucking wherever. And there's he imagining Witchblade as his queen, and it's kind of an interesting thing with the Witchblade making this huge collar, but still just barely covering her cooch there. I think he was on the right track of having the Witchblade form a kind of queen-like wardrobe, but still, she's just like, it's a like queen up top and hooker on the bottom. And so this is the prelude, and then it ends, and it's Finn. And that's Devil's Reign half. Silver Surfer, Witchblade. Now we get to Weapon Zero, Silver Surfer. And oh my God, I remember this, right? And we're just going to look at this issue, then we're going to stop, and then we'll do the next issues on a different video. Story, Walt Simonson. Huh. Yeah, okay. Maybe not all Image guys. He wasn't with Image, right? Pencils, Billy Tan, Marc Silvestri, and Kirk Van Wormer. And inks, D-Tron, Matt Banning, Joe Weems, and Billy Tan. With ink assist by Vector Lamas. And some colors and everything. So, I remember, again, like Marc Silvestri, he's going to be drawing some of this. He's going to be drawing Silver Surfer Weapon Zero. That's what I remember. Internet wasn't around, so you just remember reading like previews and Wizard magazine and everything. I don't remember how it was advertised, but I just remember like, ooh, Marc Silvestri is going to draw this, and as multiple times that Marc Silvestri does, he draws the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, and he's fucking done. And the 5 pages he draws is not all interesting. This is a cool shot. Silver Surfer, arms folded, like no dick, and as anatomically correct as a Ken doll, but the shininess that he portrays, he's in the middle of nowhere because, you don't want to draw a bunch of fucking buildings and stuff. And there's smoke yonder. Yonder's pale of smoke suggests the ravages of man. And here he goes, reciting poetry, as I call it. And then, this is the shit, like, if you're going to have Marc Silvestri do only 5 pages, why are we having him do this boring ass shit of some spaceship that's crashed here. Don't care. You know, surfers get like talking shit about mankind, trying to get this technology, and they're, you know, it's killing it. They die in the process. You know, oh man, such is his weakness to meddle with affairs beyond his ken. So, I mean, that's a cool down shot of Silver Surfer right here, and a cool face shot. I mean, and I guess I'm grading it on a curve. Like, this isn't the best thing Marc Silvestri has ever done, but it's like, oh, it's cool, especially when compared to this fucking shit. And then Silver Surfer basically, he senses dark magic or machinations coming from within this thing, and he thinks it's going to rise up and hurt people. So he's like, not on my watch, bitch. And he comes surfing in, and he spathaks it. Spathak? Shoots it. He's going to destroy it. And again, cool big splash page. I've seen better work by Marc Silvestri. Probably took, like, not a lot of time. I mean, maybe he only wanted to do Silver Surfer because he didn't have to do any fucking detail. That's the good thing about Silver Surfer, right? No detail. No hair, no facial hair, no clothes, no armor, no anything, no gear. Just a fucking, you know, no dick. Just a formless man and the most basic of, like, travel vehicles. Piece of wood, but it's silver. And then, like, so 1, 2, 3, 4 shots of the Silver Surfer. You don't, 5 if you count that. You don't even count these. 3 shots that are of any kind of coolness that you might want to pay money for. And then this shit, like, what is... I mean, if it didn't tell me, I wouldn't know what's going on. And then Silver Surfer fucks off. He's gone. He just goes. He's done. And he says, how long have I fucking... The Skyways call, and I answer. Fuck. And I remember... Mephisto basically says this, and I was thinking this as I was rereading this, because... He says, what does he say here? How too long I have tarried here when the wind and sky beckoned. They call, the Silver Surfer answers. And I just thought it'd be funny if Mephisto was up here and it says, stupid asshole. And he basically says that. And the Silver Surfer answers. In all the universe, is there anywhere a more pompous, more tedious hero who fights on the side of angels? So Mephisto's like, God, what a dickhead. How annoying is this fuck? So, again, and cool art. This image up here is, like, ominous and threatening. This is devilishly, you know, frightening. But, again, he's basically telling us, the reader, his master plan. And the ship reconfigures itself, I guess. I don't know. And he's able to use its energies to transport himself. I don't even know. Like, it's so weird, like... So, let me get this straight. There's this alien race, this bad guy alien race for Weapon Zero, and they have transdimensional, like, capabilities, I guess. So I guess it came into into Marvel's universe and crashed, and then Mephisto used it to take it back. I guess that's what happened. So, anyways... Ugh, so many words, so much explanation. As seen in Weapon Zero, like anybody fucking saw that. And then there's these people who they're fucking, like, trying to find alien life or detecting it if it comes to Earth. Something happens, they're attacked. This is where Weapon Zero is. This is... I have no idea who these guys are and what their names are. You'd think it would be like, is this Fist? Which one is Fist? I don't know. Who's Valaria? I don't know. What does Valaria do? I don't know. But he thinks to himself, I don't know if Valaria can really think in her more form, but as powerful as she is, she can't match the strength of this berserker, whatever this is. It doesn't give us any information. You're just expected to have read every issue of Weapon Zero. Now, if you're a fucking Marvel reader and a Silver Surfer fan who's been around forever, you're like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, they don't give you any information. So they're fighting some weird alien here, and it's going through shit. There's this Jamie dude over here. He doesn't give a fuck about what's going on, much like the rest of us. Again, these outfits, I don't understand. The art is fine, I guess, but there's just sometimes so much just crammed onto a page. And the panels are all over the place, overlapping each other. Like, nothing is symmetrical. Now, and maybe that's good, maybe that's bad in some ways, but it's just sometimes a chore to read this. Like, I haven't read this in a while, so I'm like, I should read it a little bit to know what the story is. And rereading this is just like, God, it's boring as fuck. I don't know what's going on. Like, does this panel here make it more exciting? No, not really. But I think they take out the berserker, but at the same time, this main dude, like, sacrificed himself somehow, some way. And somehow, I think down here, this little fucker, Jamie, who's like, I don't know what his motivations are, but he jumped through and he disappeared, and now they're like, oh, that little fucker, he jumped through. He wasn't supposed to. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who these guys are, what they're doing, or why they're doing it. I get so angry. So anyways. So this dude, this guy Jamie, I mean, does he have a code name or anything? I don't know. He appears in New York City, and he's like, oh, I like this, I'm a city guy, and this place sucks, but I'm gonna make it. I don't know. He's just weird shit going on here. Like, the hand is coming forward, but he's wearing this crazy shit on his armor and his arm. I don't know what's going on. Then it cuts to more shit. I just don't know what's going on. What is this? There's a person here. What is all this? Huh? What is all the technological shit, which is hard to draw? I can't do it. But god damn it, like, less is more sometimes, fellas. And so you got this guy with lipstick, and this lady who's his second in command, I guess. And then, okay, Mephisto shows up, right? Officially. And he announces his presence, and these guys are freaking the fuck out. Look at it. Look at her mouth. That's a pretty cool shot of Mephisto. That's ominous. That's frightening. That's powerful. I mean, I'd freak the fuck out, too, if that guy showed up. And he introduces himself to these guys. And this girl, whoever she is, whatever she does, don't know. They don't tell you. She tries attacking him to, protect her commander or whoever, king. But Mephisto ain't having any of that shit. Claps his hands and puts her into a slave outfit. And regresses women's rights like back 50 years. Something more appropriate, though. But at least the guy got to, but at least this fucking image stood out. Like, it's there's just more to look at. I mean, obviously, there's more skin to look at. But I'm not, wondering what the fuck is going on everywhere. And then the commander here, he sees how powerful he is. So he's like, I gotta play this cool, bro. And he tells his servant, he's like, go get him a drink. She's like, well, I'm not that. He's like, just fucking do it. So, nice, sexy shot of her. I like the legs and the outfit and everything. Like, that's a nice shot as she's serving him. And again, explaining a lot that was explained in this Weapon Zero, this Prelude issue. You know, he talks about Hela and other people who are, you know, lords of death, and everyone's trying to get the lost souls. But here in the Top Cow universe, they don't have anybody. So like, I'm gonna do my shit. Cool image here, right? And now, so now we suddenly cut to, they don't tell you who this is, but this is Heatwave. He tells you here, I just had from this hurt, I can't be Heatwave anymore. This is Heatwave from Cyberforce. As Robert says, one of the most boring characters ever made. And I don't disagree. And then he starts disappearing, and then there's this asshole. This is Killraiser, from my understanding, and I think he was on Strike Force? Robert, is that correct? And he's disappearing. And so it looks like Mephisto is taking some of these guys for his army. And from my understanding through interviews, part of the reason Top Cow did this was a way to shake things up a little bit in the Top Cow universe, to take some fucking characters, probably the most boring ones, and try to make them interesting and different and make them into villains. So these guys are going to become, you know, adversaries throughout the rest of the book a little bit. Spoilers. But, yeah, Heatwave's talking about how he can't fucking do anything. And he says, you know, as seen in Cyberforce number 25. So where does that... Hold on. Oh, I was looking for a joke that someone made about Heatwave's name, but that's actually later on in the book that I was perusing through. Anyway, it's not here, so never mind. Forget I said anything. So that's the setup. Weapon Zero, they come down to Earth because they're looking for this asshole Jamie. He jumps in the car with this girl who would just, like, pull over, and she's like, hey, hot stuff, want to ride with me? He's like, I sure do. And he jumps in her car and they leave. What girl would fucking do that? That's just, that's how you get murdered. Don't do that. But he jumps on and they fuck off. And that's the end of the opening. And you're like, okay. So Mephisto's here, basically. I swear, you probably could have done this whole thing in half the time. Could have done it in a prelude for 5 fucking... They should have gotten Marc Silvestri to do like 5 fucking pages of just Mephisto saying, like, you know what? I discovered this Top Cow place, and I'm just going to use my, you know, powers to go over there. All this other stuff is unnecessary and boring and just fucking filler. You probably wasted $3 on a comic back in this. So, you know, the next one... Devil's Reign Chapter 2 will be Cyblade and Ghost Rider. It gets kind of interesting, and the rest of these issues, these chapters, are entertaining on, you know, on varying degrees, with the highlights probably being the Michael Turner art. Right? So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe button, and, you know, we'll be getting to all these soon. So, thanks, and as always, I will see you in the next video.